Good evening, Doc Sarmiento. Good evening, classmate. So I am tasked today to summarize and discuss also the research article about lifelong learning as an emancipation process, a capability approach. So let us start in defining the concept of lifelong learning. It is considered as vague and potentially serving too great variety of potential objectives. Some researchers refer this as bungee jumping, catch-all concept, and Goliath term because lifelong learning is a huge concept for us, especially in the field of education. Lifelong learning includes different kinds of knowledge and skills within different perspectives, and we view adult education and adult learning as the most important forms of lifelong learning. Capability approach, on the other hand, as elaborated by Amartya Sen and Martha Nussbaum, the capability approach acknowledges that the different people have different abilities to convert the goods they have into real achievements. This is taken into account by a so-called conversion factors. It is not the end goal of education to produce human capital, and through the capability approach, we able to see that it goes beyond the human capital theory by adopting a much richer vision of human development and acknowledging both the intrinsic and the instrumental roles of education. The social justice in education in the context of capability approach must be inclusive and fair. Inclusion perspective points to the significance of improvement in the participation of any particular group irrespective of how other groups have fared. On the other hand, fairness perspective, it should be based on individuals' innate ability and the study efforts. This is the model of lifelong learning roles in capability perspective. The characteristic of influence, which are instrumental, intrinsic, and transformative, have level of influence particularly on individual and on society. We view adult education and adult learning as the most important form of lifelong learning. Adult education relates to institutionally organized forms of education of adults, more concretely to formal and non-formal education and training. The researcher used the data in adult education survey as the empirical basis of this study. And from this perspective, employability, which is high on the policy agenda, is very important but not the sole and all-embracing mission of lifelong learning. Obviously, they constrain people's ability to convert the resources which they have into actual participation because they do not allow people to combine their studies with family responsibilities or work. In conclusion, lifelong learning is a radical and all encompassing change in education and learning taking place in the condition of societies of late modernity. In practical terms, and from the viewpoints of its results, lifelong learning could be defined as both a means of reproducing existing social inequalities and a factor for mitigating and even eliminating them. In other words, it might work as a mechanism of social control, but also as an emancipating force for groups and individuals.